Good evening to our audience. Sorry for the technical delay. It was due to some technical problem that we have to come on a little bit late. This is the audience with the Lord Choloply with me. My co-host, Mark Kai-Fi from Sweden, is on tonight. And we're going to look at a few things here tonight regarding the situation in Liberia. My dear brother, welcome. How are you? You muted. You muted, bro.
Yeah, Brother Paul, I'm doing good.
Yeah.
And good afternoon, good morning, good day, good evening to our audience, wherever you are, based on the geographical location. And it's a pleasure being here.
Okay. So now we're going to do a quick musical break while we share the show, and then we can get to our discussion tonight.
Sure.
My people, where you at? Where you at? Wake up from your slumber. Stop sleeping. Whip your hands, whip your hands, whip your hands, whip your... Come on, come on, come on. I know you're sleeping now. Y'all gotta whip us some more, yeah? Okay, let's go. The people who us, the people lie to us, the government betray us, so much. I said they lie. The people who us, the people lie to us, the government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they will not go. I said we tired with their lies, we tired with their promises that led us to all our damages. We tired with that speech they preach indeed, and now unique they deceive us. The thing we saw, it frustrate us. So why can't you lie? Why can't you steal? Why can't you allow the citizens to be? See, we just tell you that's why we voted you. But you screw us, you screw us, you use us and later on abuse us. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. They lie. The people fool us, the people lie to us, the government betray us, so much. I said they lie. The people fool us, the people lie to us, the government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they will not corrupt. No one to trust. My people, no one to hope on. Nobody. My hope that I have been broken. I'm telling you, brother. So where are the schools? Where are the roads? Where are the jobs that they say they could afford? But they're too selfish. The people tired with their rhetoric. People tired, they tired. You see the reason why we ask why the government betray. They have enough of time, but yeah, then instead they delay. People suffer. No work for people crying for hunger. Look at. Your vision and your mission, your intention to the nation, they poor. You got nothing to show. Nothing. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. They lie. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. So much. I said they lie. The people fool us, the people lie to us, the government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they go not go corrupt. With their promises that led us to all our damages. We tired with that speech they preach indeed, and now unique they deceive us. The thing we saw, it frustrate us. So why can't you lie? Why can't you steal? Why can't you allow the citizens to breathe? You see, we just tell you that why we voted you. But you fool us, you screw us, you use us and little abuse us. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. The people fool us, the people lie to us, the government betray us, so much. I said they lie.
Welcome to the audience with the Lord Choloply. With me today, my co-host is Mark Kai from Sweden, and we are on the audience with the Lord Choloply discussion this evening. To our viewer, I want to say sorry for the delay. It was due to some technical issue, and it has been resolved. We're here to discuss tonight the bottom line of what is happening in Liberia. Brother Mark, do you want to shout out to your audience before we start?
Yeah, I mean, it's a pleasure being here again after a long weekend and head into the next week. Yeah, and I hope everybody's doing fine. And today been a sad day for me. Lost a brother and a friend. Yeah, George Solo. We been my childhood friend. I knew the dad who was General Peter Solo, their brother, older brother Michael Solo, sis Rhoda, who is somewhere in Belgium. Yeah, so it's a very, very sad day for me. Yeah.
Yeah, our sympathy goes to you, Brother Mark. You know, I knew Solo as the CDC party chairman then, very vocal person, and it's a sad time. So I want to say to his family also, the bottom line and the audience with the Lord Church, our condolences to the family. It's difficult for a young person to just go like that, man. It's just a hard thing, yeah.
The last time I spoke with him, when the national team was in Uganda with George at that time, yeah, the president. So yeah.
So, but anyway, sorry to hear that. This is the beauty of life. I think the old people have a saying, say when you are when old tree fall, new tree grows. So that's the human life cycle. So it's just a tragedy that it happened that way. So now we'll be looking at the situation here to our audience. We have not gone away with this situation with the border issue. In Liberia now, something is happening which we found it quite interesting. That if you talk about the land business, the government will silence you. And we just been thinking because there's haven't been any conversation regarding this issue. Our president told us that diplomacy is happening quietly, granted, which we're all happy about. But then when people come out and talk, they'll be silent. For issue like, for example, Yeke Koluba is one of them. Now, there's another person they're calling upon, Amara Kone. So we're looking at this situation from a different perspective. The land laws or voices silent. What's going on? The Liberian, the situation on the border, what's going on? That when you talk about it, they say it's a national security issue. So we want to look at it from a different perspective, and we want our audience to also chime in on this. So, Brother Matt, this is the topic for discussion. What's going on with this situation about the land? Do we believe that Liberia truly, because I want to have seen this based on what Yeke Koluba said, that he was removed from office. And then 2 days ago, Amara Coleman says something, and it's created a lot of tension in the ground. So I'm just thinking, have this land been given to Guinea or we lost the land? What's going on? I don't know. Everyone's speculating. The government said they have in diplomacy, but we're not seeing the action from the diplomacy that is happening. We are not seeing delegates from ECOWAS to Liberia. We're not seeing AU member calling the two countries to a dialogue. So what's going on? We just concerned. And being concerned is, I think, it's all Liberian rights to know what's actually happening. Because for some reason, the government refused to communicate what process that is going through. Since March 2nd, 2 months into the situation in Liberia, Guinea. So, my dear brother, they learn. They say going to Guinea. We don't know. We only asking questions. Because when you talk, then a national security issue. Everybody must be silent on the situation. So we just finding out what's going on. Talk to me, Mark,
Yeah, are you hearing me?
loud and clear.
Okay. The thing is, it's so sad, Brother Paul. How did we get here in the first place when it comes to our security apparatus, right? Then I'll go back. Actually, we don't know if the territory is lost to Guinea, and lots of Liberians, first of all, lots of Liberians, except for maybe very few that are informed or when it comes to the size of Liberia, that we're being lost in territory to the Frank Guinea at that time and Sierra Leone and to the Ivory Coast. Okay, you got Sierra Leone that was colonized by Great Britain, the United Kingdom, to say, and you got Guinea and the Ivory Coast that also went through colonization with the French, and Liberia indirectly colonized by the ACS. So we were left alone to face the two, powerful force when it comes to this territory, how Liberia got to the size it is today. So every now and then there were discussions here with the French authority, and Liberia will give in, and continue to give in. And how much more can we give in? For which we don't know if it is another compromise taking place to give in or give away to Guinea, because currently, as we speak, the Guinean military is not on the side of the border, on their side of the border, but they are into Liberia and deep into Liberia, because it's not 1 mile we're talking about. It's not 2 miles. We're talking about 8 miles. People that drive car, they know the distance of 8 miles. Okay. So being deep into Liberia, I think it should raise concern to every Liberian. Every Liberian should raise concern. You know, there's this thing in Liberia. After campaign, it's supposed to be about national concern, but after campaign, we stay yet into campaign move, even though the party that win, they in power, but the campaign move still continue until it's not about the country, but it's about an individual and that political institution. And this is madness in Liberia. After campaign, everybody's supposed to come together and hold the government responsible to do the good work for the people. But instead, the party that win, they continue. If the government does wrong, or the ruling party does wrong, they see nothing to be wrong with it. Now, they brought lawmakers back from their what you call holiday just to come and remove one person. When a group of lawmakers supposed to be called back and to have a national, we have a national crisis on hand. They should be called back questioning. We have said this thing over and over on the show, questioning the defense minister, the president, the chief of staff, the commanding general, and you name it, the national security advisor to the president, and the NSA director. All these people should be questioned. And even the information ministry, okay, the library broadcasting system, they're not telling the Liberian people anything, and we are quiet. Like my PL always says, sometimes he don't agree with the way that Yeke go about things, his choice of voice, but this is the only man who was speaking out, who was trying to throw light on what is happening. And out of frustration, he says something that some people did. Oh, I don't know if Liberian people understand what is treason and the national security risk that it posed. They just jump to conclusion, oh, why Yeke say was treasonous. But did the executive branch call Yeke, yeah, you're a lawmaker. What document have you in your possession? Because your statements tell also agitation. What document? That's what a responsible president would have done. Call Yeke or the upper house, communicate with Yeke, yeah. Your statement, man, you know our people, some of our people, not too much okra with this kind of stuff, okay, or inform. So why you made that kind of statement, Yeke? Instead of hindering things in a more amicable, way, they went and blew everything out of proportion. It become Yeke. And you elevating Yeke from one stater to another stater. Now, the whole country talking about Yeke, and even the diaspora, Yeke. So you make Yeke to be more popular. You think you're doing Yeke harm, but you make Yeke to be popular. The same thing with the Prophet Key. Okay? So when it comes to the border issue, Brother Paul, I myself just speculating what is actually going on. 2 months now. What is going on? We got no clue of what is going on, Brother Paul. Yeah, everybody will just be speculating.
Right. Yeah, Brother Mark, you're quite right, because the speculation now is like you in a house, you're the father of the house with your wife and children, and somebody just march into your house and refuse to move. And you the father of the house, you kind of paralyzed somehow. You don't know how to defend your wife and children, and then you go to your neighbor to say, oh, let y'all help me talk to this person. But your wife and children not actually seeing you talking to your neighbors to help you. And this is how we found ourselves in Liberia. We've been told it's a quiet diplomacy that is happening. But this is where this when you talk, they say that security matter. But English language or the global language or the petty language, there's a way you can say it that anything that has security implication, you will not say it. How simple it is to tell your people that look, the situation on the border, we know it's not a good thing that people invaded our land, but we have engaged other partners around the world to intervene. So for we just want our citizens to calm down that we are working. Something like that, word of encouragement. It's not happening. They just
No,
quiet.
but you just said it, Brother Paul. It's like Liberia is mother to every one of us, right?
Yeah.
It's like a man behind your wife, and instead of you taking some action to tell that man to get from behind your wife or have an intention for your wife, and you tell him to stop the nonsense, but instead you begging the man, my man, please leave my woman,
Yeah.
my man, move from behind my woman, my man. The other day you enter my house, my man, yeah, that's the kind of nonsense Liberia found herself in. And I don't want to jump ahead of the topic, and you got something to discuss when it comes to the American, because there's a lot I want to say about that.
Yeah.
But on this border issue, I think every Liberian that loves Liberia, be it Unity partisan, ANC partisan, the CTC partisan, we all should voice our own every day on our social media platform, on our social media pages, and you name it the best way possible. Because a loss of that territory is a loss for every one of us Liberians. Yeah, it's not just the people of Lofa say, oh, they love it, they lost the territory, they're getting no. It's Liberia gets smaller in size. It's like a brother of yours is, I mean, eaten by alligator, and you say, oh, that my brother, man, or the nonsensical language that the people invented, say, oh, that my half brother, man. He's your brother, no matter how you put it. Whether you're brother from one mile, your brother from one pa, he's your brother. Anything that affects him affects you. So that's the same thing with the situation in Lofa. We all, as Liberians, we're supposed to talk every day, because the more quiet we behave or we act as Liberian and say, oh, diplomacy is going on, we don't know if we are being sold out by whosoever. We don't know. And before we realize what is going on, it get lit. Today, look, for example, Brother Paul. I'm not anti-immigrant because I myself, I came to Sweden as an immigrant. Liberia now is a country that anybody from anywhere can enter and stay. You don't know based on what, if they have met the immigration starter in the country, you got no clue. You find Pakistani, Indian, Afghan, Lebanese, people from every part of the world in Liberia and the UST. So if the immigration were doing their job, by right, Liberia is supposed to be one of the rich countries making money from immigrants coming to the country. Some country, do you know how much they pay for just resident permit? A year resident permit. In some country, they pay up to $10,000 for resident permit. And if you got immigrant pouring into Liberia in a number, I want to believe the immigrant in Liberia is up to 200 some more thousand. Do you know how much is that? 200 some more thousand. If they are paying for resident permit a year, $2,500. You do the math, that's a good chunk of money that could go towards building roads, building schools, building hospitals, and helping a lot of problem in the country. But people enter the country, the Bureau of Immigration, the selling resident permit, what sort of legal system that person went through, or immigration policy that person, where the person met the requisite or meet the requisite to become a resident in the country, we got no structure, no institution to govern these things. You find, for example, look, for example, what happened in Mali. I don't watch the news because of, some lot of nonsense you find on the news when it comes to this, what we call sovereignty. Some people, they go to invade other people's territory because they feel God gave them the power to do so. So for that reason, I don't just watch the news. But when other people do the same thing, then the human right, they know about human right. For example, like this clown in America who just killed people on the high ocean, on the high sea, international water, is for war on drugs. But when Duterte was doing the same thing in Philippines, cleaning up Philippines, it's like tomorrow you get a president and who put you, Portugal, as a defense minister, and you say, well, the drugs is destroying the human resource capacity of Liberia, which is number one national security, also a national security concern. And you start a batch of drugs dealer in the country shooting and putting on resistance, and then you shoot, I kill you and your men. Then they come and say, "Oh, poor Choloply, you're abusing human rights." But Donald Trump is doing it to protect his people. Then it becomes so. For that reason, I don't watch the news. But back to my topic. Look what happened in Mali.
Brother Mike, you want to raise yourself up a little bit? You're going down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look what happened in Mali the other day, right? You find armed men. Where these people from? We know Malian, they got the Tuareg, they got, the Malian that look like, how they call it, Mauritanians. But these guys, they enter into Mali and they kill a lot of people in Mali, okay? Now look at our border. Our border is just open. There was a video, I think I saved the video somewhere for some documentation. Somewhere, this Liberian brother, I think he's a Pele guy, the way he was sounding, or a Loma, and he was recording that people in the deep forest of Liberia, they live there, they got solar panel, they got electricity on the, and they got the satellite phone that used in the military and to communicate. They got the high devices using in the forest. What are the guys doing there? What is the NSA doing to go and investigate how these people they got in a part of how they managed to get in a part of Liberia? Okay. But when you talk, how people say, "Oh, these people, some of them they came to Liberia to do agriculture, to plant cocoa." Look, for example, Zopeno. How many Burkina Zopeno guy in Grand Chile? But these things, they are not of national security concern. We misinterpret the ECOWAS free travel. Free travel doesn't mean free stay in a man's country. Yeah, free travel doesn't mean free stay in a man's country, but people kind of Liberia to stay in Liberia. So our border something is something that we have to keep talking every day. And I like, because Spoon, say what you want to say about Spoon. They're the biggest network in the country so far when it comes to viewership and audience. So I like the thing that Stanton is doing. He and his team. We got our, fellow partisan, Dr. George, who is doing a great job too when it comes to how people critique the ANC and their perception of the ANC and Dr. George. Because of Dr. George too, I also, because I stopped watching Spoon Network for how many years.
Okay.
Because of Dr. George, I went back to the network. I like the job they're doing. They continue to push the border issue every now and then and come with a small, how they call this, viewership too. But they say one more Cocoa Bob Marley, right? One more Cocoa full of baskets. So the pressure, we got to continue with the ball.
Right. So for those of you that following, this is the topic because we're big concerned about the situation in the border area, Liberia and Guinea. Land loss, voice is silent. What's going on with the Liberian government? When you become critical, they remove you from office. For example, Yeke Koruba. So we'll be playing a video about Amara Cornet that brought another Wadahara that people want to remove him from his remark. I don't know how this is going to help us in Liberia. Something about the land that the government is not telling us in Liberia, because they keep lying, say the silent diplomacy, but we're not seeing the movement. So the question here is, do we still have the land or something going wrong? Is the reason why the government's silent, and then when you talk, they go after you? Before we play the Amara Cornet, tape, there was a Spoon journalist that went on the land to do his own recording, and this particular guy now is the government is after him. So journalists also in serious problem here. So this is what we want to know, what is actually going on. But let's play this guy first before we go to the comment of Amara Cornet, and then Brother Mark, I can have your say. This video is just a 1 minute 46 second or 48-second clip.
And for the streets, we just want to let you know that the situation, the border conflict between Guinea and Liberia is still unresolved. Because the matter of fact is that the Guinean security are still on our side, on our soil. This is the second month that we are going into. They've been here all along. The reason why I'm reporting from Solomba town, is that because of security reason, according to the security, that we can go live to the port, to the Solomba port. We can go live on there. We can take a picture. We cannot do video because of security reason. That is why. That is the answer they gave us when we asked why. Because of security reason, we cannot go live there. We cannot video. We cannot take picture. So I deem it necessary to come to Solomba so that I can update you guys on the happening to the port. I went there. I was there. I just 1 minute ago to Solomba port of entry, but I didn't reach to the river bank because the Guinean security is still there as we speak. This is the second month in row that they occupy that place. They are there as we speak. So I'm updating you from Solomba Township, one Plenfuya district. So to let you know, guys, that the Guinean security are still in control.
Guinean security are still in control on the border. 2 months. Yeka Koluba said from his survey, he had at the time on him that part of the land is owned by Guinea. Based on his comment, his colleague decided to expel him from the house. So that's a subject for another debate because one of them came out and said they didn't sign. So in reality, Yeke have not been removed, but because that means they didn't have the 47. But then Yeke comment, everyone that support the government say, oh, Yeke is a loose talker. We all know Yeke is a loose talker. They encourage the government call the legislature for 10-day sitting that they spent $6 million US dollar to get them back. The end result to remove Yeke. During their closing of their session, I want you to listen to the video, Brother Mark, and then the conversation will get into it deeply. This is what Amara Connor said that now breaking a lot of outrage in the country. Let's listen to Amara Connor.
We need to fix it. I hope when the right budget comes, we will give the EFL more money. Guinea is stronger than us militarily. They have between 12 to 30,000 personnel. They have 7 aircraft. They have armored vehicles. They have a navy with boats. Our AFL, no, this is to the journalists, you can Google all of this. You can Google all of this. What I'm saying, the 4 million we have given them is the right step, but it is not adequate. We need to give them more money. I hope that when we discuss the budget in December, we will double the AFL budget going forward so that they can recruit. We are a mere 2,000 military. So, come on, man. We have to do that. That's that. Now, the second issue I want to talk about is the issue of the volunteer teacher.
The thing is that, for the record, our military information is not on the internet. So the information provided by Honorable Connor is not true. Thank you.
That's a lie. It's public information. It's on the internet. I can prove
We asked you to clarify one issue. You went back to another topic.
Put in the chat room.
Said I'm almost out.
It's on the internet.
Brother Mark,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
You can Google it now. It will tell you, because last time we had a podcast here about, that's where we got our data from. The Liberian Army, 2,000 men and women. If you subtract the cook, the engineers, the doctors, the nurses from that group, the fighting force of Liberian Army, they barely 1,000. So Amar Connect saying something here that now they claim to be security, how they call it, national security issue. It's there. You Google now. The Google may not be accurate, but the figure is there. If you have the Guinean military tell you they get 30,000. It's there. They tell you how many. In fact, there was a showcase during the inauguration of the president of Guinea. They show what they have. So what's the secret about that? The president called for them to come back from reset as emergency sitting. What happened? Nothing about security was discussed, but the key point was to remove Yeke Koluba. My brother, talk to me. You listen to MR Connect. You saw the video from the border. The Guinean soldiers are still there. What say you?
Yeah, Brother Paul. I mean, first of all, it's so laughable, and how some, not every one of them, right? Some of these clown. Because for me, I'm not like some Liberian podcaster or some people that want to pretend they are so kind and clean when it comes to using language, right? But because words, I mean, the definition of words are in a dictionary. So I don't know how some of the clowns got elected in the first place, because they go into our community, into this constituency, and open their loud mouths and talk nonsense to the people, give them $10, $20 here and there, so they get elected. I mean, the fellow is so irritating when he talks about national security. Does he understand what national security is? Does he know what national security is when they talk about national security? What's his military background? What does he know about the army? What does he know about national security, the NSA, for example? What are not to be discussed in public and what are to be discussed in public? Even the great United States, there are things you can find out about the U.S. Army, Army in general. You can just go on the internet, you Google that. But there are certain things, classified information that they don't talk about. Those are things that we call national security. But some things, they are just open to the public, and the public need to know. Yeah, the public have the right to know the size of their army. The public have the right to know the size of their navy. The public have the right to know the size, of the different unit in the army, or different how do you call it, groups in the army. For example, it come to the Marine, it come to XYZ, and you name it. Okay, so these things are not information that's supposed to be hidden from the public. But my problem, where he would have had a good ground, had he gone after Amar Kone to say, your government, the government you work in as finance minister, under Madam Sally government, that had almost 20 some odd thousand multinational peacekeepers or international peacekeepers in the country, from different countries, from Denmark, from Sweden. Why didn't you people do enough to increase the military strength of Liberia? Why didn't you people at that time, when you had the international community, when Ellen was the darling of the West, okay, why didn't you people do enough to increase this 10,000 you're talking about? That Guinea got 10,000 or 15,000 or 30,000 manpower than Liberia? Why didn't you people do enough? With the international community assisting, you would have gotten today up to 100,000 men power in the armed forces of Liberia, and then that would be sponsored. That could have been sponsored today by the international community. So he would have had a good ground had he gone after American in that way, but not to talk about, just open his louse and mouth in Chimo because he want to gain attention. And he had gotten the attention. Some stupid stuff people say, it can create nationwide attention. And this clown got the nationwide attention, but in the wrong way that, it's been given to him. I just want to say that because the American, I wrote a statement. It was on the Spoon Network when people were talking, and I'm like, but why the American? Why is he talking about the condition we find ourselves in today? Why didn't he talk to Madam Seti to say, look, this country here, looking at the past history or going over the past history, because if we had a well-trained military in Liberia, we wouldn't have gone to where the country is at today, from the Civil War up to now, because the army was untrained, so it was manipulated by the first branch of government, and it was always under the control of the first branch of government, which it is. But the army would have acted to protect innocent lives in the country the way it happened. So there were areas that he could have gone after Amara Kone and Madam Sali, who didn't do enough. Because for me, there isn't a credit I can give Madam Sali for nothing. Yeah, I can give her credit.
But then, Brother Margo, if you look at it, the number 2 honor Madam Salif is the current president.
Yeah.
You see, and honor Manasari, we know Manasari hated the military in Liberia because what they did to her. We know that. So that particular army, she decided to dissolve it when she became president. So this new group, the current president was number 2, honor Manasari. The most money came into the country. Why they didn't do it? Okay, Manasari gone. But let's look at the national budget of the country. The military get less. The legislature get more. So we are in a predicament at the moment. Now they have a supplementary budget. We thought this special session that were called were meaning about the army, because that's where they could have put more money and think about how to recruit a lot of people to boost the affair. But wait a minute. Just what was it? Beginning of Joseph Newman Barker 10. What happened? AU or OU, whatever they call it, they gave their military hardware to Liberia. We had a discussion on Bottomland that they were on peacekeeping mission. I think it was in Sudan or one of the places, Darfur, but the military hardware they had, they asked Liberia to take it. And Liberia just needed to transport it, which were going to cost $1.4 million, and those goods were in Cameroon. So if those military hardware were taken to Liberia, that were given to them free by OU, the Organization of Africa, are giving it to them free. Where are they? Where are those military hardware that they took? It's something just is that they didn't get it in Liberia, or they didn't spend the $1.4 million to take it to Liberia. So what you call a special session, you didn't increase huge money into the military, but instead you are removing Yeka Koluba, which became your priority. So my question to you here, brother, this is quite interesting. What Emma Conan said, and people are calling him, paying him with Yeke Koluba now for his removal too. The question is, so give freedom of speech in Liberia, because what it looks like to me, if you talk something about the land, the border issue, the government come to fight back. Is there a form of distraction that the government don't want people to know what's actually happening on the land, that they do trace it on somebody for the news to carry, and then the attention of the Guinean soldier being on the border not being talked about? So do you think critical voices are becoming or being target or to the government or distract from national issue? Do you think critical voices are being targeted to distract from the national issue, that the border issue, that what Americans say now is going to be the headline, and nobody hear anything about the border anymore? The Eastern Yeke Koluba, it quieted that Guinea soldiers stay on the land. What's it?
You raise some good points when it comes to, Liberia sending some men over to help contribute to peace across Africa, for that matter, and no matter what part of the world that our help is needed. But I want to say this for fact, that looking at the size of your army, even the U.S. government can give you 4 or 5. How to call this F-16, or how to call this a fighter jet. You don't have the men to operate them. No matter what military hardware they gave you, you need men to operate those things, and you must put in the capital to have those men trained. Is Liberia ready, or do we have the men, the capacity? No. Do we have the intellectual ability to operate them? No, except for those that went there. What happened if something happened in case? How do you replace them? So these things we don't have. But back to the Americana issue and critical voices. Every conflict across Africa, for that matter, or third world countries, start little by little, little by little, little by little, little by, like you putting water in the glass. You put drop of water, drop of water, drop of water until that glass is filled and it spill out, and there is no more turning back. So looking at this government, they believe with their handful of supporter that did not win the election in landslide, and because CDC feared that we are that's why I put up the late brother Solo video that he had on the podcast he had on the Spoon Network, when he went after former finance minister Samuel Tuet, and how they betrayed the struggle. Okay, and that is why citizen decided to not betray WIA, but tell WIA that we brought you to power, and we hold you accountable for betraying the struggle, that you're supposed to serve the interests of the Liberian people, but not just you and your crony, your handful of people around you, the Summit-ware, the Biltware, the whosoever, and you left the masses there, and you and your people were just enjoying. So the same thing, I expect the unity partisan, the unity partisan to be taking statistics. Say, okay, we bring Joseph Baka to power. George, we are built 18 condominium, and Joseph Baka now, he built a $10 million, how they call it, whatsoever nonsense in Lofa County that doesn't even have good road to travel on. Okay, he built a $10 million stuff in our place, and then 2, renovating his new home. So these are statistics that unity partisan, the people back up bring to the government, how they are enriching themselves. We brought them into power, but he forgetting to know that 2029 is coming, and we were taking. So the same way citizens were praising George, we are forgetting to know that, they were being left aside. So that's the same thing this government is doing. And unity partisan, just for very few I listened to lately that are actually angry with this government. A whole lot of unity partisans will take the statistics and say, look, this thing is not about, because suffering doesn't know border. Yeah, suffering, it doesn't know border when it comes to a country. When hardship comes to the country, it comes to everybody. So the thing of critical voices, if the government feel that the silent Yeke, the silent Amara Kone, maybe they will have the courage to go after some political leader, and that would be the red line they will be crossing by going after any of the political party, their leaders. It would be the red line, and the international community, they won't be ready for what will come. I'm not making a security threat, but it's just for my putting 1 or 2 together, and with the little background and experience that I know about these things, how they unfold and what it lead to is disaster it can bring.
Yeah, you are talking about the $10 million how they call it security hub that they built in 4 years. And that $10 million security hub, according to the government, it was for peace within the region among the Mana River Union members. But then interestingly, after building this hub, Guinea decided to encroach on our land. So the Mana River, the 4 countries have this organization. Although President Boubacar Manabio went to Guinea Conakry to meet Dumoulin, the president, but why is he having been a summit with the 4 countries regarding this? And we're told the $10 million homes in 4 years were meant for regional security issue. So we got a place built for Mana River Union, and then one of the member states decided to invade another member state. The Mana River Union have not said anything, they have not come together before we even go beyond to ECOWAS. So you see something here now, right, Brother Mark? You see why I'm leading? Why is Mana River, why is Guinea have encroached into Liberia? Africa Coast now causing noise, Sierra Leone now causing noise, Liberia is silent, they say silent diplomacy. Something's smelling here for me because I just thinking, you get that? Why spend the money on security hub and then you have a security situation, the 4 countries have not come together?
Yeah, the thing is, you know, the issue here is very easy and difficult to discuss. The easy part about it is that if we Liberians put pressure on the government, it would be very easy to go about. Our government will put pressure that this thing be resolved. The hard part about it is that why is it our government not putting pressure? And a lot of Liberians are not even how they call it, take into consideration that this thing is not in our interest, it's not in the interest of anybody. And then two people talk about, oh yeah, Liberia, we don't want to fight Guinea, we want to. The moment you start to send these missed signal out there that you're weak, that it's like your mother got grown up boys, children in the house, and this man is abusing her. And the friends, they ask the children over, why are you guys in the house? I mean, people taking advantage, or the men taking advantage, oh, you start giving stupid excuses, and your mother being abused in the house continuously. So that's the same thing that happened in Liberia now. So we should just sit quiet. And the next thing, besides Guinea, what happened if we got
Ivory Coast.
nationality in the country? No, not even Ivory Coast. We got different nationality in the country. What happened if they decide to say, okay, this part of Liberia, yes, since now these people got only 5,000 military men, we go to this part of Liberia and we're going to claim that territory, stay in that area, and loot the resources in that area. What happened? We be quiet to say, oh yeah, this thing, the government will go to the United Nations. That's nonsense. If Liberia don't be very vocal and aggressive and send some signal to Guinea. The other day on the show, somebody inboxed me and said, oh Mike, you shouldn't have made that statement. I'm not going to retreat that statement. I meant what I said because how Liberia sent. Let's say Liberia took $1 billion from the water that they talk about. Does it give Guinea the right to do what she did? To come into, instead of protecting our water, to say, okay, you know what, from today on, nobody go into this water until this matter is settled. But then you leave from there, you come into Liberia, and deep into Liberia for that matter, you displace hundreds, if possible, thousands of people. I would have sent the first message, even before we start talking about diplomacy, the first message of deterrent. I sent the next 200, some we got under 5,000 men. I sent the next 200 men from the armed forces of Liberia to that border, like what one of my, colleagues said, Padole, that the first thing I would have done. And the next thing, if Guinea doesn't, retreat or come to the discussion table, the next thing I will give Guinea a taste of a medicine in another form by creating economic and a crisis the same way she displace our people from the border instead of going to say, okay, we part of the union. Madam Bio is the chairman of the union. Let us go to Madam Bio to discuss this thing, or let us call the union to discuss this thing, or we go to the, how to call it, ECOWAS, or we go to the AU. If it cannot be so, instead of going through the different channel that Liberia now is taking, you that being abused. But this the river, who know which part of the river that these how to call it, whatsoever mineral were taken from? What if they were on the side of Liberia? Okay, we got no document as to the agreement between Liberia and Guinea. So I would have given try this nonsense in Ghana. That, for example, Togolese crossed the border and went into Ghana and said, "Oh, they are the military." The first thing, the amount of Togolese that live in Ghana, the Ghanaian would have been sweeping them like people take broom to sweep them, say, leave Ghana. You understand? I'm not saying that, oh yeah, how they call it, extra, but I would have created the same kind of economic and how they call this disturbance this young man created for Liberia by displacing Liberia, making them to leave their home, their livelihood, their crops and stuff. I would have grabbed some Guinean and send them back to Guinea. I won't reduce, I won't mince my words on that. Grab some of them that got huge investment in Liberia, send them back some money, their government be looking for a place for their people to stay. And that would have shown that, okay, Liberia, think of what you want to say of Liberia, but Liberia, we are older than Guinea. We fought for the independence of Guinea. We fought for the independence of almost every African country apart from Ethiopia. Say what you want to say about us. We are Africa big brother, regardless of our size, because we are older than them in age, and some respect need to be given to Liberia. But if you don't respect yourself, the man outside there, he won't respect you. So these nonsense that I hear from people, oh yeah, Guinea as it get me irritated sometimes, brother Paul.
I know it's frustrating. And for those of you who joining audience with the Lord Choloply, this is the topic we have on display here. Land laws, voices silent. What do we mean by land law, voices silent? The government of Liberia, for some reason, are very quiet, and they keep telling all this diplomacy going on. But the Guineans army are still on the border. So we be concerned. If you talk, they say it's national security issue. When Amara Connor said it was 2,000 fighting force we have, Guinea have 30,000, people are asking, calling on a removal. But then the question is, why is the government so quiet 2 months? And I like what you said, Brother Mark. You sometimes tension can resolve problem. So you get the OU or AU, wherever is there, you got the ECOWAS right there. Imagine Liberia send just 500 men on that border. ECOWAS will be running to the two nations and call a meeting, security meeting for the region. They will do it. It's not for Liberians to go fight, but the fact is that this guy been on your land for 2 freaking months, and you dare say, oh, if when we're in school, the guy who used to be scared, let's say we used to call the kind of people chicken. If you chicken, your friends will bully you in school. So this what is happening in Liberia. This young man in Guinea is bullying our president for being a chicken. You see what is happening? So when you show strength sometimes, you call attention to the international. Look what happened in Mali a few days. It's all over the place. Imagine 200 or 300 men, Liberian army march to that border. It will be on CNN, it will be on Al Jazeera, it will be on BBC that, oh, this going to blow up. And you'll find people like Laos, Mother, Donald Trump, and other calling. But the fact is that Manareba Yield not seeing anything, ECOWAS not seeing anything. If you talk in Liberia, they will remove you from office. You become silent to the government. Something is smelling rotten. Have this government sold the land to the Guineans? That is the question we're asking, because what the diplomacy that we don't know. You can't say, oh, this is security matter, but over 3,000 homes have been displaced in the region, and people are confused. You're not coming out to say, oh, citizen, we're doing X, Y, Z, but we want to give you the insurance that you will go back to your homes. But nothing like such. Everyone just muted. If you talk, because Yeke said something, so now some all tend to believe what Yeke said. If you remove Yeke, we're not seeing action. Now you want to remove Amara Corners. Something might be cooking. And that thing that is cooking, that was some all interested in. Do we lost? Is the land gone? We don't know. We're only asking questions. Talk to me, brother.
Look, Brother Paul, everything when it comes to military is a game of mind, okay? So you that, understand or play chess before, and these are sometimes what you call statistic and analytical, what you call evaluation that people do before they make some move when it comes to invading a country territory or your opponent. So this fellow in Guinea, he know exactly what he's doing because he has some domestic issue in Guinea. What if he want to flesh and muscle to say that, oh, and looking at knowing the history of Liberia, that is a country that got good fighting force, even though they are not in the military. But for 16 years, the conflict in Liberia has caused problem for the whole region of West Africa, which is informed, even though he was much younger when the conflict was going on. So what if he's trying to send some message to his people that, oh yeah, if I can go into Liberia, nobody dare try me in Guinea here. And two, they say a crazy soul need crazy treatment, you understand? Mm-hmm. So Liberia should have sent a message to Dumuya in the first place, but even said, the 6 million that government spent over the past time should have been spent a lot of area that would send message to Guinea that, okay, Liberia, and her own people would have told him, say, look, you cannot take these people for granted. Liberia is not what you think. These people, they got up to 500,000 men that if tomorrow come, they can recruit within the twinkling of an eye. They just need a weapon, but we don't need that. So your action going into Liberia, you have to retreat. And these are the message, kind of message I expect, that if they talk about diplomacy, to be sending to ECOWAS, to be sending to the AU, to be sending even to the people that Liberia can say, oh yeah, they're a partner of America. You ain't partner of America. Shut the hell up. Yeah, I would say that. Send this message to your partner. America is there in the country. Okay? They got one of the biggest embassies in West Africa in Liberia. What have the Americans done? Have they called the Guinean? Have they called you, the president, Joseph Boaga, saying you came from Guinea? And have you talked to your people? None of these things. We got no information to these things. You understand? So this border issue is kind of a Liberians should talk about this border issue. And I know some of our brothers with, the thing about this whole conflict here, right? We are all related. The whole continent of Africa, we are all related. You understand? Because this tribe you find at the border point, you got the extension in this other country. And it continued like that. You understand? It's like a net, a spider web that is connected. Okay? So we are all related. So, but the way that Guinea went about this thing, say what you want to say, whosoever went in the water to mine mineral, whatsoever mineral, the way Guinea went about this thing is what's wrong. And what Liberian people we need to point out. Because once we don't point this thing out, we start to do in-house fighting, then it shows weakness to Guinea. But if we don't show in-house fighting and we come together, we're using one voice to tell the Guineans, say, get the hell out of our country and go back to your border side and let us discuss the matter, and what the wrong is, we will address the wrong. But you cannot be on our side of the border. And the first people I expect to take matter into their hands, our brothers from in Lofa County.
Yeah.
Because once they take matter into their hands, you'll find the whole of Liberia rallying around our brothers and sisters in Lofa. I can tell you that for sure. But the idea, Joseph Baka also in power, so we need to, how they call it, say, wait for the president. I mean, that's bull crap, bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah. And Mark, so this is a good discussion, and we'll continue to talk about the border issue because the government keeping everybody silent, which we don't know for what reason, known to them. We're back here again next Sunday on the discussion, but we might have a surprise next Sunday. We're working on the details here. We might have a big surprise for the audience of Lord Choloply on Sunday. So, Brother Mark, so
Yeah, Brother Paul.
I just want to do a quick demo, and then we'll close on this. We'll close on this.
Can I come in just a few seconds?
Yeah.
You don't forget to inform, our audience that Mr. Cummings and I got Brother Mensa watching, so that he also be part of the podcast, Brother Jamar, and don't forget to inform the entire crew that we're going to have Mr. Cummings on, so they can share that also on their Facebook page, so that the audience can join in and ask Mr. Cummings some questions if they have. Yeah, he's going to have interaction with the bottom line platform. Thank you.
Yes, I will do that. And when I get a full confirmation from him this week, and then I will share that, and then we'll start the conversation.
Our PR already told you, but Mr. Comey, he doesn't say something that he won't do. So the confirmation coming from me, trust that.
Yeah, so for those who follow on, we will have Mr. Cummings on the bottom line, or then with the Lord Choloply next Sunday by his grace. And here, but Brother Mark, we'll close on this. A few demo we're going to play. We'll close on it, and then I have a question for you.
Yeah.
And that question, I want to say national interest and priority. What does defending nation interest? Oh, I'll put it something away. I'll put it in another way. That come out first. This is about national interest or priority. Where way the government is going. Let's take a quick demo, and then we'll come out and look into this one, and then we can have a day. It's quite interesting. First Mensa will be starting a show. I think it's this coming Saturday. The story. So
welcome to Your Story, hosted by Francis Mano Mensa. Join us each episode as we dive deep into the lives of inspiring guests, exploring the challenges and successes that have shaped their journeys. Discover their unique experiences, insights, and the powerful stories that define them. Tune in and be inspired. Coming soon on The Bottom Line Liberia.
Welcome to the audience with the Lord Choloply. So, Brother Mark and I've been having a very good conversation on the Guinea-Liberian border issue, and it have gone well, and we think our government is playing chicken and wanting to relate to us all what is really happening. So, Brother Mark, we just want to close on this. Based on the situation, what does defending national interest really means in this situation? Because it seems to me they prioritize giving lawmakers 6 million to recall them, and that the border issue become the less of its kind. What say you, my dear brother? And then we'll close up.
Yeah, I think this is where the political parties in Liberia, for me, which I find them to be very weak and not taking the responsibility to hold this government accountable and the people in general. Because a government elected or any government for that matter, the first priority is the national security of their people and the sovereignty of that territory. Once that sovereignty is invaded, then that's a national security concern. And there are other concerns that also can be considered a national security concern. But the main one is that when a foreign force, regardless the size, the number, enter into your territory illegally, and there is no legal means that a country, the only legal means that a country can enter another country, except it's done under the auspices of the United Nations or the AU, for example, like what happened in Liberia, right? During our civil war, they came there to save lives and property. So, but once it's not done in a manner, then the national security should be a priority and not every other thing should be put on pause, and this issue should be addressed. The first branch of government, the first branch of government is supposed to be calling the second branch of government that manage the affair of the country, the legislature. And then with the legislature, they are very weak. They don't know their function because this is what they are elected for. They represent the people. They write the law. They should hold the law, I mean, the people that protect the law accountable. But they are not even doing that, Brother Paul. So our national security concern is currently at risk more than it ever been because we don't actually know. We say these people are from Guinea. Is it true that these people are from Guinea? Okay, how true it is? Okay, because nothing has been said to us. And from the Guinean side, even I try to monitor the Guinean TV, the Guinean, it's not even been talked about in Guinea. So what is going on? Okay, have Liberia sent journalists to Guinea to go and find out? Even our journalists in Liberia, have they gone to Guinea? They'll talk about the issue, and after 1 or 2 days, you go to find something else to talk about. They talk about the issue after 1 or 2 days. They find Julius Jerry the other time. He said, "Oh, he got a lot to talk about. He got a lot to talk about when he come back." All of a sudden, he went quiet. There's somebody called Julius Jerry and said, "Oh, Julius, yeah, you know, you can talk about that thing, yeah, lay envelope or whatsoever." I'm just saying, nobody know what is going on. And yeah, Brother Paul, just to add on to our national security issue should be a priority to the first branch of government, because once the first branch of government they work together,
Yeah.
the executive branch, they will do their job. But everybody trying to listen to the nonsense tip that came about the other day. Oh, you know, we gotta receive our letting, and when we receive our letting, once we receive our letting, somebody just go in the corner and say these things are national security concern. Okay,
Yeah.
how can the people that we trust? The people that we trust, that we elected, okay, to write the law, then they're talking about receiving letting. Then what is the how they call it, the chief prosecutor in the country? Does he listen to this tape? And what does he do? You the whole chief prosecutor. You listen to this kind of tip. Try that nonsense in America or in any developed country. Where you got lawmaker on a tip talking about, oh yeah, the national lawmaker, you lost that position. They start investigating you. If you go to the place on vacation, and you go on vacation, you go on maybe no less than 10 years vacation. Because these are treasonous act. You want to accept money in order for you to sign up to something that poses danger to the country. Because a lawmaker who is talking about being taking money to remove that lawmaker, and then you compromise the issue that you're supposed to be talking about, that you're supposed to have sleepless night about.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brother Paul.
Yeah. Thank you, Mark. Thank you. It was good having you again, and we're back here next Sunday by His grace, and it will be interesting that we will have Mr. Cummings on this platform next Sunday. It will be firing from us, Selena, to hear from the political leader of ANC what he got in his sleeve for 2029. So For those of you that are following us, it was great having you all here, and we're back here again on Sunday. But on Tuesday, the bottom line return Tuesday and Friday, the normal time, 8 p.m. UK, that's 9 p.m. Central European time, and 7 p.m. Liberia time. The bottom line resume on Tuesday and then follow with Friday. And then by Saturday, we're going to have the story about Francis Mensah on the program. So I want to say it was a great evening having the audience with the Lord Choloply. We shall see you all by his grace. Oh, before we go, Mark, do you want to give your parting comment to our audience before we leave?
Yeah, the only thing I want to say is that, as I stated before, this issue of Liberia, our country being invaded by Guinea or occupy a portion of the country, occupy, this is, for some of us, it poses psychological, problem for us, having gone through what we went through during the 16 to some more years plus. We don't want to have that, and most especially if it's coming from another country, because up to now we don't know the amount of number, okay, that the Guineans have on our side. Nothing is coming from there. So I want to urge all Liberians to continue talking about this issue, writing about it, because once the government is silent, and if we don't act, this thing is not going to reach the international community. Because the more we talk about it, the more we write about it. There are people that monitor everything on the social media. So if you got millions of Liberians writing about the issue on a day-to-day basis, we will be doing our country a great help, and we'll be doing the lazy government, the lazy president who cannot move, we will be doing him a favor also. So we should not mind they going after Americone, thinking that they to get prison to put tens of thousands of Liberian people in prison, because we'll continue talking about it until the Guineans get their foot off our toes, because it's not yet on our knee before it comes to our neck. Because by the time it comes to our neck, by that time, how they call it, feet will be helping the body, and we don't want to come to that. So I thank everyone for listening, and I urge people to continue talking about this Guinea stuff every day, post about it. Thank you, Brother Paul. It was nice being here.
Thank you, bro. And we'll have you back next Sunday with the big cat discussion on this platform. I want to say our audience, we will have Mr. Cummings here next Sunday. Follow us on the audience with the Lord Choloply. It will be firing. And we're here on Tuesdays and Friday. Also on Saturday by his grace. So on that note, I want to say shout out, good night to all of you, and we shall be here on Tuesday. Have a pleasant evening.